It is a very special pleasure for me to introduce the 2024 Roscoe O. Brady Awardee for Innovation and Accomplishment in the field of lysosomal diseases, Professor Elsa G. Shapiro. Many recognize Professor Shapiro for her research in neurobehavioral outcomes of genetic neurodegenerative disorders, and particularly lysosomal conditions. In 1974, she was the founding head of the Pediatric Neuropsychology Clinic and Training Program at the University of Minnesota, mentoring numerous postdoctoral fellows and junior faculty. This audience knows Dr. Shapiro as the innovator and trendsetter who has created these standards for neurocognitive effects of lysosomal conditions, beginning with the therapeutic outcomes of hematopoietic stem cell transplant. During the seminal first decade of transplants for lysosomal diseases in the 1980s, my research patients with Hurler's syndrome were surviving beyond the expected dismal degenerative trajectory. In the first 11 children, clinical features melted away. Organomegaly returned to normal. Most importantly, the usual course of cognitive decline was arrested. At that time, Dr. Shapiro jumped in and developed a novel approach to scoring standardized tests. Dr. Shapiro found that untreated children lost about 20 IQ points per year. In other words, losing 1.6 DQ or IQ points every month the transplant was delayed. Years later, this key observation motivated the U.S. federal recommendation to add Hurler syndrome to the recommended Uniform Newborn Screening Panel, or RUSP list. For Elsa, this was just the beginning. Without new ways of thinking and measuring and developing sensitive measures of neurocognitive development, it would be impossible to assess the effects of therapeutic intervention. For this reason, she has become the most sought-after authority on measuring cognitive behavior for lysosomal diseases. With me, she was the co-founding principal investigator of the NIH-supported Lysosomal Disease Network. We were also co-principal investigators of the largest and most comprehensive natural history studies of the Sanfilippo syndromes. In the past 2 decades, she has played a pivotal role in numerous international groups, advancing the understanding and developing global consensus on methods of measurement of neurocognitive behavior. She was key at the FDA workshop on the assessment of neurocognitive outcomes in the inborn errors of metabolism. She organized the first and subsequent international consensus conferences on cognitive endpoints. Professor Shapiro has been the driver and speaks from the pinnacle of expertise in describing neurocognitive measures for lysosomal diseases and assessments of the outcomes of their treatment. For those who know Elsa Shapiro and her husband, Professor Vic Bloomfield, there's a game called Where in the World is Elsa? This dynamic duo are intrepid globetrotters traveling to every European capital, the coast of Siberia, the Grand Bazaar of Istanbul, to Antarctica. One never knows where the dynamic duo Elsa and Vic might be. However, today, I think we know the answer to that question when we ask, where in the world is Elsa Shapiro? San Diego? Yes, right here at WORLDSymposium. So, without further ado, would you all rise and give it up, welcoming the 2024 Roscoe O. Brady Awardee for Innovation and Accomplishment, Professor Elsa Shapiro.